My goodness, a lot has been going on there in Alaska. Emergency managers in Juneau, Alaska. Population about 32,000 people. The state's capital issued an urgent evacuation warning for residents in the Mendenhall Valley due to an impending glacial outburst flood from Suicide Basin, the glacial lake dammed by the Mendenhall Glacier. The flood expected to peak at 4 p.m. Alaska time today, August 13th, could surpass the 2023 record of 15.99 feet on the Mendenhall River, driven by climate change-induced glacial melt. Hi everyone, I'm Mary with MaryGreeley News. Thank you very much for joining me. I want to give a shout out to Heidi, who recently bought me several cups of coffee. You're an angel. Thank you very much. Also a shout out to Donna and James. And to those of you that have sent in PayPal donations, thank you very much. God bless each and every one of you. Going to Google Earth, here is the Mendenhall River. Here we have the town of Juneau and all the other small little towns. Let's see, there's the river. And hopefully it will take me to Suicide Basin. It's not going to do it. Alright, going to the maps of Google Earth. We do show here that they have a flood warning posted. One of the alerts says that there's been seen a lot of debris and trees within this area that could be washed downstream during the flooding. So going to Google Earth, I believe this is the location right through here. Right there is the river. The Mendenhall River has already risen to moderate flood stage as of doing the research, trying to find information about what's going on. It was at 10 feet. Usually the depth is 5 feet. And the flood is expected to crest around 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, potentially exceeding last year's record of 16 feet. Emergency managers are urging evacuations as a precaution through the emergency flood barrier, which was finished, evidently, installed last month, spanning 2 miles, that are in place to protect the Mendenhall Valley. Now, this is where most of Juneau's population lives, evidently, of 32,000 residents. Governor Mike Dunleavy issued a preemptive disaster declaration on August 10th, citing previous devastation from similar events in 2023 and 2024. The cause is the collapse of the ice dam at Suicide Basin. Annual summer heat melting, the glacier, and that happens every year, and it must be this up over here. Yeah, the situation there is very tense right now. I don't know if people are taking the evacuation orders seriously. Boy, I hope so. Historically, the first recorded outburst flood from that glacier was recorded in 2011. With last year, 2024, that flood released about 14.6 billion gallons of water and caused extensive infrastructure damage. The glacier melting fills up really fast. Suicide Basin, not only from the melting of the glacier, but rainwater, and that happens until the ice dam bursts, releasing billions of gallons. And that's according to the emergency manager, Tom Maditz. Last year, flooding dumped 14.6 billion gallons, swamping basements and collapsing buildings. Emergency barriers now span 2 miles, but evacuations are still urged for the valley where most residents live. Last year, they started building the levee along a 4-mile track of one side of the river where most of the area's homes are being evacuated. Imagine that would be here. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers provided the barriers that have a 3-foot square footprint and are 4 feet tall, along with expert guidance on their installation. I don't know, the pictures that I've seen, they're filled with rock and sand, and it doesn't look like it's very strong material to me. At one of the recent meetings, residents living on the properties where the barrier would go testified of being in opposition to the barriers. The residents said that many people would likely be unable to afford the cost, which would be $100,000 or more, that they would have to pay for. They said that such a barrier would lower the cost or the value of their properties. Furthermore, some said it was unfair to charge only homeowners along the riverbank when the barriers would also be providing protection to hundreds of other homes nearby. And you can see all that here. Let me bring it out. Last year, the preliminary estimate about the amount of water that was being dumped into the river or flowing through the river was 34,400 cubic feet per second. But now USGS says it was actually 42,700 cubic feet per second. They say that the reason they have a new rating is because there is higher flows and the channel is changing. Also, recently, miles away, there was a magnitude 5.4 earthquake on Sunday, which created the collapse of the side of the mountain, another glacier. Yeah, it wasn't just the top layer that collapsed. It was all the way down into the granite and bedrock. The local people who were camping there noticed the first thing that they saw was that the moving water was moving backwards. They had been going there for years aboard her small cruise ship, this one woman, Christine White, for nearly 2 decades. And then, she was familiar with the tides rising and falling. But all of a sudden, the river started flowing backwards. She also noticed the tide quickly rose and fell roughly 10 feet. She said, "I honestly think it was the side of the mountain collapsing." That was according to the state seismologist. Details of the remote landslide were uncertain in the immediate aftermath, but there was early indications that are truly impressive around that location, the amount of rock and debris that tumbled down. Tens of hundreds of millions of cubic meters. Southeastern Alaska has seen a growing number of fatal landslides near populated areas in recent years, but Sunday's landslide, this was the 10th, was something quite a bit different. Rather than a top layer of soil giving way, in this case, massive amounts of bedrock came down. According to one of the geologists, they said that when all that rock fell near the end of Tracy Arm, this is Tracy Arm right here, and this is where that earthquake occurred, where South Sawyer Glacier reaches tidewater. The geologist said it set off a truly colossal tsunami. There was a photo that was taken in this location where there's an island that was scored of almost all vegetation. In the one photo that I'll show you here, only one tree remains on top of the location. You can see how the water line where everything has just been completely wiped out. So now today we got Juneau and its warning and screams about evacuations and more disaster coming. The Mendenhall Valley faces the brunt of this newest coming disaster, and there's no guarantee that the barriers that they put up are actually going to work. Yeah, I wouldn't trust those barriers from what I've seen in their construction. The impact and inundation area of the last 3 events have increased each time, a pattern that puts hundreds of homes and thousands of vulnerable residents, as well as critical infrastructure, public facilities, and community and medical services at risk. Are you prepared? This is another reason why everyone should be prepared for any type of disaster. Often disasters come without any warning whatsoever. At least they got a warning that this is coming. Are you prepared? Please put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please share these videos, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.